Hey, and welcome to another wonderful Sunday night here on Freedom Reigns Blog Talk Radio. Tonight we have the premiere edition of Santo Bonacci joining Freedom Reigns for the first time in his first 2-hour slot. Syncretism. It's going to be an amazing, amazing show. We have sitting in with us tonight myself. Peter is with us, and looks like Lawrence has joined us, and we also waiting for Tony to get here. And none other than the most amazing, the most incredible Santo Bonacci. How are you doing, Santo?
Very well, Kate. Very, very well. Yourself?
Really good. I actually managed to catch a couple hours of sleep this afternoon. I was up most of the night and just couldn't shut down. You know what it's like, right? We get going on this game.
Yeah, the same happened to me last night. I tried to finish editing part one of my Syncretism DVD presentation, and I didn't quite. I did about 3/4 of it, so I've got another hour to do today, and then I will put it up. I promise you that. But I couldn't sleep because my thoughts were racing. You know, thinking about your the stuff that you guys are doing, and what I've uncovered with Syncretism and how well they marry together and how beautifully they've arrived both at the same time. Now, you know, most of the listeners who are familiar with my presentations and what you've been uncovering in the last month or so, they will know how well they fit together. And I'm just constantly, daily adding to the research and the findings that I've uncovered. And now they come to me by very special means. You know, people all around the world forward stuff that amazingly just fits in perfectly with what is supposed to be uncovered at the right time. It all turns up at the right time. I just open Facebook and there's something, or I open my email and someone sent me a little thing and there might be 3 or 4 words that point me to some source, and there I find something. You know, I'm like a detective, and a detective knows how to jump on good leads. And I've jumped on some beauties, guys, and I'm going to share those today. I'm going to prepare the listeners first. You might want pen and paper, because this what you're going to learn will be very handy if you have a pen in your hand. If you don't, you can visualize it. I'll go slow and everything like that. But if you do have pen and paper, it'll be handy, because when you write with your hand, you are actually connecting your both hemispheres, left and right, and you create magic. So it's worth writing, because the moment you write words down, you will see other words. The magic occurs when you write. This is why Hermes had the writing stylus. Moses had the writing stylus. They all wrote. All right, so just wanted to prepare the listeners. And welcome lovers of freedom, welcome lovers of truth, welcome lovers of the concept of love, which is what the universe is. That's all it is. And I'm sure you'll be at home here, and this show is going out for the sake of truth, love, and freedom. If there are any fringe listeners out there who are not really sincere about these subjects, I know that they'll disappear soon enough, because they're not ready. But you need to be ready. And the proof is in the pudding. One must be ready for all the good truth that's a-coming to this planet, because the lie has been promoted with billions and trillions of dollars by the economic elite to keep us subdued and to keep us like good little slaves. And in this show, we're going to find some ways to undo that slavery bit by bit, immediately, so we can stand today in honor. Okay.
There's been a lot of amazing information coming out in real time, and that's one of the joys. It's like we had that chat last night, which was just an amazing chat. We have Scott from Down Under with you coming on Tuesday, and you're going to be joining us, which is your Wednesday morning. on Tuesday night exposing the Australian corruption. It's amazing how everything and everyone showed up at the same time last night. So this is why I tell people to get in the now. When you're in the now and you're observing all the clues as they're coming at you, you'll be able to see them and you won't miss them. And that's what I'm loving about the fact that you're doing Syncretism, because you are putting this beautiful tapestry together. You are threading it. And, I've done my role, and I continue to do it as a writer and what have you, a messenger. You're doing yours as this beautiful teacher with the holy science, and there are so many others. I mean, Tony brings the geometrics, Templar, pyramidal, all of that aspect to it, and then we have Peter, who's bringing this incredible amount of detail knowledge to the table in legal aspects, and as a result of all of us gathering together in that syncretism, all these dots are connecting faster than I could have ever imagined. It's stunning, to say the least.
It's beautiful. It's come right at the right time, as it always does. Now, just for the listeners who don't know what the word syncretism means, and then we'll get to Deatra. Deatra's joining us, of course, and she's got some great news in a few minutes. Okay, so everything's good that's coming. Oh, hey, Pete.
Hey.
Yeah,
I didn't even know I was here, did you? I was so quiet. You said, is Peter dead or what?
Yeah.
It's just rare for Peter to be quiet. It's beautiful. No, it's awesome that...
well, see,
Peter...
I did some corona therapy yesterday and got my mind right. So that's probably what it's all about.
Yes, and I do have to put out a huge thank you to Deatra for standing her ground for as long as she has, keeping Freedom Reigns through thick and thin, so that the likes of our can show up and get this truth out. So a big bow and a curtsy for Deatra. Thank you so much, love.
Too good. So syncretism, a lot of people, probably 90% of people I've found, confuse syncretism with synchronicity. Synchronicity is always also a good word. It's a great word. Everybody's experiencing synchronicity. Syncretism is not synchronicity. It's related, yeah, but syncretism is the uniting, the science that has the ability to unite all sciences, everything in a unified field, that we can merge all branches of knowing that we have, mathematics, science, geometry, sacred geometry, theology, etc. They are all understandable through syncretic wisdom. That's all I'm offering. I'm a researcher, and I'm syncretizing all of these theologies. So if you're inclined, because you've got a Christian background or a Muslim background or a Jewish, Hindu, whatever, if you're inclined to see the world and the cosmos through the Christian language, that's great. If you're inclined to see it through the Muslim language, that's great, because that's all they are. They're just languages. Okay? I see the world through the English language. When I think in English. If I'm talking to Italians, I think in Italian. If I'm talking to Spanish, I think in Spanish. But I'm still thinking, and I'm still saying the same thing that I want to say. So don't abandon those theologies. Just understand what they are. What we need to do is walk away from the churches. The churches are corporations like the governments, and they are very, very corrupt and poisoned. And in particular, the Catholic Church, and I'll go into that in a minute. So for now, let's have some really nice news. Deatra, please.
Hi, Santos. I am so happy to have you finally with us. Oh, my gosh. I mean, that right there is great news.
Thank you.
You're new to Freedom Reigns, so you're not real familiar with the history in my personal life. But many of our listeners that have followed over the last 2.5 years, almost 3, know that I've been raising my grandchildren, and I have custody, and that it's been almost 5 years since we've had any contact with our mother. She had to leave her marriage due to abuse of her and the children, and she came to me and asked me to take her children. We went to court because it was the only way she knew to protect her kids. And shortly after I was granted the legal guardianship of the children, she disappeared. We couldn't find her. I had hired private investigators. There was nothing. There was no trace of her as of '08. And my son that's in the military even tried to have members of JAG try and locate her. And again, still to no avail. To the point that my youngest son and I had already reckoned with the very possibility that my daughter was no longer with us. Last night, we held our first annual, maybe we'll say monthly dance party here on Freedom Reigns. And I was there for the beginning of the show, and I hung up about maybe 30 minutes before the end. And I just happened to log back into Skype, and David Miola, left me a message. Hope wants you to call her, and gave me a phone number. Hope is my daughter's name. Now, of course, she hasn't gone by that for years. Now, of course, I named her that because at the time that I was pregnant with her, and I was going through a very rough patch in my life, and being pregnant with her was what gave me hope to push on forward. And it was just so fitting. Last night, my daughter and I, for the first time in almost 5 years, spent 6 hours on Skype, on video conference. And she will be reunited with her children here within the next probably week. And she'll be coming here to visit and possibly to live. But, you know, Santos, one thing that, in spite of the fact that I had done all these searches and everything, and I had prayed, but I had never put it out. I'd never put it out to the source, to the universe, to the cosmos, however one wants to see it, until just a few nights ago. And, I mean, this was just, maybe 5 nights ago, I think, if that. And when I called Hope last night, and we were talking through Skype, she told me, she had been trying to find me too. She had even paid for locator sites that kept giving her different information to find me, which was so ridiculous because I've been in the same place for 4 years, more than. But she finally located my profile on Facebook. But because of circumstances a few months ago, I totally shut down my Facebook to the point that if you don't know me, you ain't getting me. All she was allowed to do was subscribe. She had no way to post to me. She had no way of sending me a private message, nothing. She went to the point of people that had posted on my Facebook page, she sent them personal messages, please help me contact my mom. I never got any of those messages from anybody that she had emailed or messaged. Then our show, Freedom Reigns, popped up on the Facebook, and she was alerted, and she called in. That's how she found me. But, in almost 5 years, I didn't put it out to the cosmos. I didn't put my desires out there the way it should be until 5 days ago. And now, you talk about synchronicity. It was awesome. But
yep.
Back when she was a child, we used to sing together a lot. of course, we never wrote any. We're not as talented as you and Kate. We don't write our own music. We sing everybody else's music.
Beautiful. Thanks, Deatra.
Yeah, that's what we call wow moments on radio.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, when you get a Navy man to cry, you know you've done a good job.
Yeah, you know that's the joy of being a musician. Is my guitar was sitting right beside me, and I just picked it up and played along. Not sure if it got picked up or anything, but I was right in there with you guys. So beautiful song.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I've typed it into the chat room, but I'd like to invite everybody to please join with me in my Day of Thanksgiving celebration. I know it's not Thanksgiving and all that good stuff, but this is truly a day of Thanksgiving, at least for me.
Every day is a day of giving thanks.
I want to say thank you to Tony and Kate, you, and Santos, because, even though I knew all of this in my heart deep, and I've always known, that when you put something out there, everything comes together the way it's supposed to, but I really didn't believe hard enough until I started really listening to the three of you. And you guys have really brought me forward in my journey. Of course, Lawrence has had a lot to do with it, too, and he's listening in also. But all three of you guys are really awesome, and the message you bring forth is the absolute best. And I can't thank the three of you enough for the spiritual teachings that you have shared with me to help me to grow, to help get to the point where I could believe enough. And now look, Well, let's build that bridge, guys. Let's build that bridge. As it says, love is what will join the tribes of man. So let's build that bridge, and let's all stand together strong. And with that, I'm going to back out for a bit because I can't control my emotions.
Thanks, Deatra. Beautiful. And you can extend that love to embrace truth and freedom and justice and wisdom and kindness and knowledge and all of the things that we stand for, guys. We always have. We always have had these things, and they've always been dear to us. Now, what Deatra mentioned, which is interesting, is that she put out her intent into the universe 5 days ago, and then she got a reply. Now, that's a very important factor in all of this, guys. We need to put our intent out. My intent, when I started my path, was I want to know the truth. I want the truth to live on this planet. There's enough lies. There are enough fools out there that are placed in the best positions to do damage to millions below them. And they've been placed there deliberately by certain entities. And the lie has been promoted for a long, long time, guys. A long time. And it's over. The lie cannot live in the beautiful energy that has arrived already. We don't have to wait. Already, the sun, our leader in the solar system, our primary, the one they used to call God, not the source, but God, because it's the Son of God. It's the electric sun of the electric cosmos. And people used to respect nature and its forces, etc. And where this solar system is taking us to a higher vibration, the lie cannot live. It cannot. And so it's time for the truth. And people, the enemies of the truth have always been there in plain sight. And they are predominantly the Bar and the Vatican. These two are on top. They are right on top of the mountain. The Bar and the Vatican. Solicitors, lawyers, attorneys, barristers, all these creeps, they are a bunch of liars, they are a den of thieves, and they are ruled and rule by a coven of witches. And that coven of witches are the global economic elite families of this planet. They are trashing the planet. They are terrorists. Terrorism comes from them. It comes from the bar. These are the people who collect money for the Vatican because everything in law is ecclesiastical. The writ is ecclesiastical. I've shown this in my videos. The prosecutor, that's an ecclesiastical word. The cleric is a clerk. The judge is an ordinary. The case is an accusation. You are the accused. It's all the Vatican and the Inquisition by stealth, using the bar, and the bar, of course, are more than willing to be accomplices with this creepy entity called the Vatican. Now, let me insert just now, before I forget, please to support the work of Kevin Annett, and he has a new video, Kevin Annett Talks to Mark Windows, October 2012 update. Check it out on YouTube. It's only had 145 views. It needs 145 million views. Spread it. I've put it in the chat, Kate, if you can get it out there. That's the video I just put in the chat.
Will do.
Yeah, Kevin Annett is an official... Go.
I was just going to jump in there for a sec, Santo. I did a ton of work with Kevin for a couple of years as he was exposing the residential school murders. Spent some time with him down on the Mohawk Reservation at one of the residential schools, where they were digging, bones up, where standard procedure was to murder and chop up a child and dig a hole, throw the remnants in the ground, and then plant a tree on it so the roots would engulf it, so it could never be found. I've seen this with my own eyes. So get behind Kevin and let him know that we support his work. Everything is working together to expose in Syncretism well, Santa, you say it better than I do. I have no words for these vile creatures that call themselves beings of any kind. So anyway, that's I just want to give that that's my vote of confidence for Kevin, and get on it. And he's done some great work. So there you go.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing with Kevin is he's a focal point that we can all focus and give him energy and attention and help, because he actually has an organization that desires to kill the beast. Not people, the beast. The Vatican is an out-of-control beast, and it wants blood. Nothing more, just blood. Because it's a fiction. And fictions can only exist when they tear to shreds carcasses that have real energy. And they've been doing it for a long time. A long time. The Vatican has killed many of our brothers. Please study the Bogomils, the Cathars, the Albigenses, the Waldenses, the Lollards, the Socinians, the Jews of Spain in the Middle Ages, even the Moors that were persecuted, that were Sufis, Sufi wisdom of the East, which is the exquisite wisdom of Islam, the original wisdom. These have been persecuted and turned into churchianity. Christendom, the dome of Christ, the kingdom of Christ. It's not Christendom, it's Christendom. They have been dumbed down. They think they're Christians, but they are not. So if you come from a Christian background, please go to the sources of Christianity, because it's an exquisite language that teaches science. That's all it does. And I've proven that. And so, but the Rothschilds and all of these creepy families have, along with the Jesuits and the Vatican and the Bar, stealthily have come through the back door and they've stolen your property. They leverage your bonds. They know how to hypothecate your signatures. That's why they desperately want your signatures. Sign here, you get a loan. Sign here, you get this. Sign there, you get that. And we go around signing, and sinning. And that's why they called it signing. Because they know that they need willing accomplices in their crimes of stealing your property. And so the likes of Kennett, who has an actual organisation, needs support. What Kevin has done is he's established that by the 16th of September last month, that 5 nations stood up courageously with his organisations that he's spearheading, and they have said no to the Catholic Church because they did not defrock their pedophile ministers. They continue to keep them. They are a coven of witches, nothing less, and they are murderous, and they love the smell of blood. Now, if you can't handle that truth, you need to do some research, because you've been living in what we call la-la land, because that is, in fact, how the world works. The killers are the Vatican, and they own the CIA, they own the IRS, they own all the alphabet gangs. They're just a bunch of gangs full of criminals and low-life, low-brained, animalistic humans. There are two kinds of humans in Hermetic wisdom. There's human beings and there's human beasts. And the human beast, the Gentiles, you see, the Bible says that the times of the Gentiles will rule over the earth, and then they will end, and the dead shall rise. So we are the ones that have been dead because we haven't seen this, and we've gone along with the system and thought the system was okay. Oh yes, there's a bit of injustice here and there. There's a war or two, but I've got my 2 jobs and I've got my SUV and I'm keeping up with the Joneses. So I'm focused and I've got my kids and I'm going to get a 3rd job so that they don't live without, because I don't want them to suffer with the things that I suffered. And yet all the children want is your love. They don't want the toys. They don't want the money that comes from your 3rd and your 2nd and your 1st job. Lose the jobs, guys. The jobs belong to the Vatican. Work? Yeah. Do good work. I do work. I don't have a job. I haven't had for 12 years. I just do work, and good work. And we all are capable of doing good work. Good work is what contributes to your evolution and development and the development of others in the community, your friends and everyone around you. So please, people, please support these people who are putting their lives on the line. When Kevin goes from one country to another, he doesn't know whether his plane is going to fall out of the sky or whether he's going to be dealt with in the toilet of the aeroplane, or whether customs are going to nab him and take him to a special room. He just doesn't know. And yet he's gone out there and organised people, groups of people, to support him to kill this beast. And we must support these people, because the Bar and the Vatican have to go first, because they hold the banks together, and the banks are what's destroying our wealth. And we've seen how they do that. We've seen that with the bonds. Funny how they get you to turn up in court and they do not put notice of their bond in the court file, do they?
Nope.
How many policemen go to court, prosecute you just for a simple fine, and some people end up in jail for traffic violations? It's incredible. Let me tell you a little story. My son called me yesterday and he goes, "Dad, you wouldn't have Saturday night." Matt, my best friend, his 16-year-old brother with a group of other friends went to a school ground to play soccer. The cops came with dogs. Matt's brother started running. Of course, you want to, when you're young, your mind is, hey, these cops are going to drag me through the court. I'll probably end up in some youth scheme where I have to pay corporations because I was on property that God built on this rock. And they, with their clown suits and vicious killing dogs, are right in my face. So this little kid starts running, doesn't he? What a 16-year-old kid does. They sicked their big dogs onto him and destroyed his foot. They pinned him down, my son said, and they were laughing and sicking the dog, and while the dog was gnawing at his foot. He's in hospital. He comes out today. The parents are determined to take action. Now, these are the Narrabeen police, people. Australians that are listening, please spread this audio file. I will have names of the policemen, because the policemen are conspiring with the bar, and they are performing criminal, killing, murderous acts.
Hey, Santo, I just wanted to jump in here for a sec to remind people that are listening that we now have the means to trace police bonds in the courts and to lay charges against them effectively where they will stick and they will count. And we've also got other means to take down judges and everything else. So there's nowhere left for them to hide. So all the information we can get out, I just want people to know that we do have that ability now. We have found the way through, and all shall be accountable for their actions. That's what they chose. Golden rule: do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. So they are looking to experience this, and I shall not yield that. That's theirs. Then they can have it. So just letting people know that we do have the means now.
Beautiful. All the Narrabeen police, they know who Santos Bonacci is. So please, any listeners, if I neglect to do so, any Australian listeners and even American and worldwide listeners, whoever you may be, if you have the means to make, send it to the Narrabeen police. We are going to get names, the names of those policemen, and we will bring their bonds to court, and they will be dealt with. I'm getting names. We're going for your names, because you will be held accountable. You will be held accountable. That's the way of the future, guys. It's time to stand. It is time to stand. Otherwise, we'll be wiped out like the Bogomils. We'll be wiped out like the Waldenses. In one day, in the town where the Albigenses lived, the Catholic Church wiped out 35,000 people in one fell blow. And the inquisitor that was at the lead of the vicious dogs and animals that were killing innocent people wrote back to the Pope and said, hey, there's a bunch of Catholics in there too. We don't know who are the Cathars and who are the Catholics. How do we proceed? And the Pope kindly and graciously, as he always does, and as he does with the wars in Libya and Iraq, said, go ahead and kill them all. Let God sort them out.
Isn't that special?
Yeah, that is special. And they are very, very special. They are an absolute special separate class of human animals that need to be put in place. And their place is this.
You there, Santo?
They're blocking you, Santos.
Yeah, they're blocking.
They're doing the Kate Shuffle on you.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Santo, just one quick note there. People listening, animals, if you take the word anu from the ani of animals, you have anu, which is heart, as above, so below. You'll see the anu of the Orion Nebula, where creation for this particular realm it comes out of. And the anu is also your heart. It's in the same shape, has the same tortial effect, and that's where you reside as the being, the light source. And when you take anu mals, mal is sickness. So what we're dealing with here, when you are being an animal, you have a heart sickness. So you're not acting in love, you're acting in competition or with petition, which you may call it natural law, but it's a very low order of natural law in this particular realm. So I just wanted to bring that word to the table. I want to discuss later, too, if we can, Santo, the word hypothecate and hypothecation and what it means in its mirror.
I'll do it now.
Okay. Well, the word hype comes from, you can either have hyper or hypo. Hyper meaning faster than the speed of light, as in a hyperdrive, and hypo as in hypodermic, as in under. So hypo, hypoth, and then you have the th, which is theos, God. Kate, or K Shun. K is Egyptian spirit, Ka, K. You might know from my name, Kate, Ka T, spirit of love. And you have Shun, which is a T-I-O-N sound, which has always been kind of a mystery for me. Why does T-I-O-N make a sh sound? But anyway, so you either have hypothecation, which is the speed of light, or the under. You're either above or below with the signature. This is why the hypothecation is so critical. You can either shun it, or you can be the T, i.e. love, ion. So hypothecate tion or hypothecation. So there's actually it's a quad duality in that word, so it's very powerful. And when you do put your signature to paper, that is the manifestation of your intent and your free will choice as that divine spark of photonic light that you are of God, right? God is light, you are light, ye are gods. Put it all together, you'll see the logic. It's all fine. And that's why they have to get our physical, by your deeds you shall be known. Deeds, deed polls, everything else. So you got to start listening and seeing the spells and working them together to see both sides of the mirror at the same time. So I just wanted to share that. Actually, the hypothecation came out in the dream this afternoon when I actually.
Hey, Santos. Yeah, I want to share something because we are making a difference. I'm going to prove it to you in a second. I just got this article. I stuck it in your box. Anyways, here's another issue. Mississippi town sued over school-to-prison pipeline. That's another article I haven't read yet, but they're getting busted, bro. They're getting busted huge, and I'm going to read this to you. This is just I want to really interject this because it's really that important, and it parallels exactly what we speak of. They think they're going to get away with it. Their gig is up. They really haven't got the memo yet, but they're fixing to get the memo. And I'm going to share this, what I just put in your box, called Are the Globalists Outmatched by Humanity's Greatness? And I got to read this article because it rings so true on so many different levels, and you're going to get it because this is the memo. It says, humanity is now progressing toward a modern-day cognitive renaissance period. It's happening all around us. People are politically awakening to what is happening globally. The ruling class has long planned on constructing a global political government with full control of all parts, perfect control grid where the very rich can exercise unchallenged power forever. One thing the global elite couldn't account for, however, is the power of life, the magic that is being human, and the greatness that lies within each and every man. No doubt this spiritual energy, quest for freedom, and drive to thrive that exists in every man has presented problems for tyrants throughout history. Likewise, this present-day struggle for freedom and individual sovereignty has awakened the giant that lives inside every man. The awakening is about more than just understanding what is happening. The global and individual political awakening manifests itself in a drive and desire to take action and change the physical world around us. It turns out the humans as a whole never give up, and the fires of freedom will always burn. This fire is a manifestation of nature. More than ever before, people are coming together from all walks of life. Untelevised revolutions all around the world continue as people everywhere are demanding their rights. People are awakened to the dirty deeds of the few at the very top of the pecking order, and they are very willing to put up a fight. History has shown us that tyranny and fascism can only be sustained temporarily on humanity before the flames of freedom fight back. Let's hold on to this knowledge and find ways to complete this self-fulfilling prophecy of global fascism's death. The next paragraph, I just want a little more. Global government henchmen being systematically exposed. From a racketeering and money laundering lawsuit that names government officials to the California Proposition, Prop 37, to be voted on that would expose and require labeling of genetically modified foods to exposing voter fraud and corruption, humanity is now observing a slow incremental paradigm shift. It's all happening very slowly, but the rate of human recovery is accelerating. From the rumors of mass arrest to the exposing of anti-Iran propaganda designed to instigate more wars, it's all culminating into a long-awaited turning point. This is a manifestation of the greatness that is humanity. Unfortunately, the globalist eugenicist would have you believe that humanity is worthless, a bunch of useless eaters consuming the resources that belong to them. They would have you believe that you have no value except perhaps whatever labor they can be extracted out of you for profit. Even at a time when the TSA is being exposed for its corruption and criminality, a time when false flag terror and staged mass shootings are now being exposed in real time, the mass corporate-owned media is slowly losing all credibility, and we are at a time when the current presidential administration and political system are being fully exposed as rings of criminality and fraud are exposed daily. We might tighten the noose around the necks of the perpetrators who seek to control the world. Amazingly, humanity comes with a naturally endowed greatness. It is the ability to think critically and the determination to put those thoughts into action. It is the expression of the unique personalities we have and the unique skills that makes every man uniquely special and thus uniquely useful to the cause of healing humanity and bringing us to a new level of consciousness. As we move forward to the next page of history, this diversity of humanity is important to our survival. The Ogliarchs had plans for a new American century of global, tyrannical domination of the world. However, evidence now shows that was an overreach and an aspiration, an unrealistic fantasy from the minds of people who thought they could play God and control humanity. The globalists realized their time is running out, having clearly miscalculated what humanity was capable of. The lesson here is to never underestimate the power and the greatness of humanity. This greatness is being manifested every day and is in the very early phase. No need to watch movies to see goodness defeat evil when we have the greatest theater of all, reality. Welcome to my world, brother. I had to share that. I said this is just parallel. I picked this up just this morning, and I posted it to everybody who wanted to read it. They're getting the memo, guys. They're really getting the memo, and we're just getting warmed up. So, like I say, love and harmony, that's what we're all about. So we're going to bring it in a whole new paradigm.
Pete, you made my day. Sending me that information today, I read that, and I was just like, thank God for that. It's serious.
Guys, hey, Santos and Kate, you guys have a caller. Are you ready to take callers?
Yeah, I think we can take callers.
Yeah, we can take callers.
Are you guys ready?
I was muted, yeah.
Okay, great. Well, we have Robert from area code 602. Robert, your mic is open.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Great.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I just have to say, first of all, when the show started, I was like, you know what? I'll go ahead and get a notepad out and write down some questions. And I can't even keep up with the amount of questions that I have, so I'm trying to think of where to start here. You were just talking about hypothecation, and I'd seen a meme on Facebook where someone had showed that you could box the signature on a dollar bill, and I was wondering, would that have any significance at all?
Oh, that might be because I've been opening my big yap about it. Yeah, absolutely. That was Rory that posted Freedom Reigns, one of our sponsors. And that's one of the things I've been trying to get out for the last couple of years as far as boxing your signature. What it does is it takes the signature right off the document. And when you understand that cash that you think is cash is actually a government check, that's why anyone that uses cash is a government employee, because you're using intergovernmental paper. That's why you're considered an expert. That's why they go after it, because they can. And until we get rid of money, and anyone that comes at me that says that money is okay, I will call you a fool and a liar, because you don't know what it is. It's actually a government check written on your blood. And if you want to have some fun with it, just start boxing all the signatures and all the 20s and 50s and 10s and 5s and 1s in the U.S. We don't have that stuff up here. The smallest bill we have is a 5. But anyway, they call them bills for a reason, guys. They're checks written on an account. There's 2 signatures. Any corporate check you ever come across will have 2 signatures on it. Postal money orders, box the signature, do it in blue. It seems to be the one that works. I
did purple yesterday. I had to bust out my purple pen yesterday. I went purple yesterday.
Oh, look at you, Mr. Man, giving them purple nurples. Perfect. Hey,
I'm in touch with my feminine side. It's all good, I guess.
Atta boy. You're my favorite Navy boy. So does that answer your question?
Kate, can I just step in here? Kate, can I step in here for just a minute? And you guys, people need to keep in mind that's their money. It's not real. So the boxing, the signature, I can see exactly where that would help release us.
It's debt.
Right. They can't hypothecate it anymore once you make it a dead instrument, and that's what you do when you put it in the box. It becomes a dead instrument, and it can no longer be rehypothecated anywhere in the system.
Mhm.
So it's like it's like canceling the debt is what it is. And if everybody did it tomorrow, All these callers, everybody got to go out and put something in a box. If everybody in America, UK, Australia, they put everything in a box for one day and shut the sorry suckers down in a New York minute.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the only reason I really want to bring that up is the fact that I've been calling this show, I've been doing on numerous stations, and I finally found a home on Freedom Reigns. Outside the box was just a coincidental in that I've lived outside the box my whole life in the form of being that I am. And isn't it kind of ironic and kind of funny at the end of the game that this is how we get outside the box, by putting the name inside one?
That's a hoot.
Isn't that something, eh?
Yeah.
It was just a coincidence, though. You know, there's no syncretism there at all, right, Santo?
Well, no, not at all.
So, any other questions on that one, Robert?
Yeah, I had another question, if I could.
Sure.
I was wondering, so I've been looking into the sovereignty stuff for a while, ever since, I guess, Esoteric Agenda and then Ungrip has got me interested, and then I just kind of went from there, and I found notice recipient and the Postmaster General, and I printed all those documents, and it seemed pretty overwhelming, but as I've been listening to you guys, it seems like it's quite a bit simpler than that. And I guess my only question about all that is, if I were to get out of the system or whatever the term is for this process, and I have a job and a lease and, you know, a bank account, and I need my paychecks and this and that, is this something that you have to abandon all of these things?
Okay.
Or are there ways
I am going to jump in here, because that is a question I get asked at least 5 times a day, and it drives me batty. At what point do you think you have? At which point do you think you have to turn your entire life upside down for a bunch of bimbos that don't even have offices to talk to each other? People, you got to stop thinking that the whole world is you. You got to start thinking that, you know, this is fact. You can send something to one government office, and I'll guarantee you, if you never did anything else, there'd be no other government office that would ever hear about it. And none of them would care, because they're too busy picking their noses, standing around the water cooler, trying to get their paperwork rammed through. If you honestly think you matter that much, well, you know, lose the elevated sense of self-importance there, guys. Baby steps. Pick one thing at a time. The answer is very simply this. Who cares? And who knows, and who gives a shit? So
okay.
Just carry on with life.
Kate,
yeah.
I can give him some continuity of flow in his mind real quick in about 30 seconds.
You.
Hey, brother, it's real simple. You can't do an impossibility. It's called the laws of necessity. They brought you this sorry-ass system, so you're sort of stuck with it for a moment. You know what? So you can't do it all in one bite. You got to come over the bridge one step at a time. So, brother, come on in. The water's fine. No, you don't have to quit your job. No, they can't bind you up. No, they can't do. See, when you're forced, when you're forced in using a system, and we know it's going to take you a minute to get out. That's why we call it a transition. So we're all going to transition, and we're going to go over the bridge one step at a time, and you can't do an impossibility. It's called the laws of necessity. You might want to look that up. That'll give you a little more clarity. But anyways, I've already come over the bridge. So, brother, it ain't nothing but a thing, you know. But you got to start with the faith of a mustard seed and take an action, and then you move forward. You can't get to step 10 until you went through step 1. So I hope that gave you a little more clarity. Don't sweat the small stuff, brother. I got your back.
Hey, Kate, I just have to ask you, what's going to replace their money, you know, when it's destroyed?
We're already working on that.
That's what's on so many people's minds. You know, when the Fern and the rest of the fiat crashes, what's going to replace it?
Well, we're doing a show on that tomorrow night. Called
and we're working on it. We're working on it. We're already working on it. Yeah, you didn't get the memo yet, so it's all right, Dietro. We'll get you across the bridge. It's going to be just fine. It's all going to be just fine.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about another option of that tomorrow night, which will probably all tie in together in syncretism, regardless. So we're going to do a show on the Regal system tomorrow night. So that again, these ideas are all coming to the fore, and it is about transition. And I honestly, and I love to keep people light on this. And I take my own life as an example. And Peter, you said it earlier about, you know, life's a hoot. Well, you see, here's the thing: mind over matter the way I am now compared to the way I was 5 years ago has been a transition of my own. And in layman's terms, Robert, and I'll put it bluntly, you don't grow boobs overnight, but you do grow them eventually. So there you go.
Hey, well,
come on, you're supposed to laugh, guys. That was funny. Jesus.
It was a delayed laugh.
Unbelievable. I'm trying to keep it light, you know?
All right. Well, thank you, Robert, for calling in. It's really appreciated. And for anybody else who wants to call in with comments or questions, please feel free to do so, and we'll get you in as soon as we can. Area code 714-868-0749. With that, Santos, Kate, it's back to you guys.
Yep.
Hey, Santo, take the helm. This is your show. Take the helm.
Right, I know. We just superseded them. It's terrible.
Beautiful stuff, guys. Absolutely. Please contribute because it's all the same thing. Exposure is what is going to bring them down. And they don't like it. They really do not like it. The work that Kevin Arnott is doing just that. In fact, he has suggested that after the 15th of September, if they do not defrock their pedophile priests, for instance, that we are to do active things as much as we can to bring to the attention of the world the crimes of the Catholic Church. Because if we stay silent, we are accomplices, and we allow this raping of children and killing of little people's souls in these churches, these quiet, cold churches where no one gets to peer in to see how many pedophile priests are actually having fun with the lives of innocent victims. And this is an organization that protects pedophiles. It must be destroyed. It must be obliterated from the face of the earth. Now, I was saying before what the position is of these fools that have been elevated to vomit out stupidities so that the blind, ignorant, sleeping masses are led along like sheep to the slaughter. For instance, they put fools up like George Bush. What sort of an idiot was that? And he was vomiting his stupidity on a daily basis on television in front of the masses. As the chief CEO of the United States Corporation, the killingest machine in the universe, which is an arm of the Vatican Jesuit killing mother effers. Because that's what they are, guys. I'm sorry that I've resorted to words like that, but that's what they are. They will kill anything. They will kill their mothers. And this is the organisations that have got to go. And light is coming back to the planet. So we need to hop on that train. Exposure, like here's some things, and as I said to the listeners, grab this audio file, send it to the Narre Warren Police Station. That's two words. Narre is N-A-R-R-E, and Warren is W-A-R-R-E-N. Because they know who I am. They know who my son is. My son lodged his Denique ultimatum documents in January, on 13th of January this year. He had some driving things, driving without their license twice, 2 counts of driving without their license and for speeding, and he lodged that that document in, and they haven't challenged it since. It's been 10 months. He hasn't heard from them, and so they know who we are, and so they need to hear this audio file. We're coming for names. Exposure is what will get them. Those names need to be exposed for the crimes that they are committing. Imagine this poor boy, 16-year-old, scared out of his wits, running, and there's these dogs, German Shepherds, tearing his foot apart. He's probably lost his foot. They don't know. I mean, there's a lot of trouble there, but the parents are determined to take this to the media, to take this to the world. We have the parents of this boy very, very eager. Let's not let them down, please. The parents want to get this story out. So let's help,
Santo,
and it will expose them. Yep.
Hey, Santo. I think they got a couple of allies on their side. because right now we're running on about an average of between 45 and 50,000 people listening to every show. So here's the thing. Yeah, word's out. And this is where it begins, and this is where everyone that's listening gets the word out. And all we're asking people to do is, we'll lead the way. We'll spearhead and do all the stuff because we can. This is what we do. What we need you to do is to step up to the plate a little bit, start boxing signatures on everything, start passing, emails along. Anytime I send an email out, I want it to go viral, and it does. I think we got a good taste of that this morning, eh, Peter? But anyway,
hello.
Yeah, clogged up. I sent out an email and got all the Facebook stuff done and clogged up a site within 15 minutes. So the word gets out. Okay. So Santo, you tell that family that they've got Kata Guy, they got Peter, they got you, they got Tony, they got Diatra, they got the whole world behind them. So we're going to get the word out real big.
Yep. Absolutely. I mean, I don't even know the name of the guy. I was going to, the young kid, but I was going to get that off my son. I didn't have a chance this morning, but that's the way. And then they need exposure. This government thinks that they can send policemen with vicious dogs that just kill, because dogs don't know when to stop mauling into someone's foot. They think they're doing a job. And so that was intent. These officers with intent destroyed someone's foot. What right did they have? None. Their bonds are going to be taken into court. And go for it.
It's no different than here in America. They tasering the crap out of people for asking a question, for Christ's sakes, and they can kill you because it takes and knocks your sinoatrial node out the loop, and then you go into defibrillation and you're dead on the spot. Isn't that special? And they get their jollies on actually doing it. It was only supposed to be used when they were under extreme physical duress of a threat, not asking a dadgum question. But they bust the son of a bitch out, and they cap people with these things like they're candy. And you know what? This shit's got to stop, brother. I'm sorry. I get emotional about this because I can't believe this crap has gone on this long.
Oh, look, I will do everything in my power to expose this story, and we are going to stop. We're going to get tasers off the streets within weeks, and we are going to really make sure that these guys are held accountable. Here's one for you, exposure. In 96, in Port Arthur, which was a penal colony in Tasmania, that beautiful island, 35 people were gunned down by what they say in the media was Martin Bryant. Martin Bryant killed nobody on that day. John Howard was the then Prime Minister. John Howard is the killer that was behind Port Arthur. He is the murderer that killed 35 innocent people. I hope people from those families are listening in, because there's plenty of evidence on the internet. Please, people, search Port Arthur, John Howard, punch in those words, and you will get videos of all the people that were there on the day. People that worked at Port Arthur, they saw 2 gunmen. People that worked at Port Arthur saw many, many discrepancies and many, many failings of procedure on that day that were deliberate, absolutely deliberate. It was a crime scene of Mossad, CIA, M16, and all those evil, dirty, low-life entities that work as foot soldiers for the Vatican in those alphabet gangs, which are going to be destroyed soon, and all the fools that have ever worked in there. Imagine all the fools on this planet that work for things like anti-terrorism, and they've signed up with the government to work against anti-terrorism, which the government is actually behind and sponsors with all their love and all their money. And we go, and we're doing all these things like, save the world by putting in 40-watt globes instead of 100-watt globes. And here we are supporting these killers to make us look like idiots when we put, little buckets in our showers to save the water, because we're running out of water. Water doesn't run out of this planet. Water's part of this planet, people. We're not running out of water. It's here to stay, if you haven't noticed. It's their schemes. In Australia, they did this, the criminal Australian government, so that they could start charging us for water. And now we're happily paying for water. For God's sake.
Hey, that's nothing.
It falls out of the sky.
That's nothing, brother. Oh, yeah. Well, they threw a guy in jail over in Oregon for collecting rainwater on his own property. And now the new scam in America is, folks, snap out of it, wake up, the crap's coming. The next new scam is we're going to go ahead and track your license plates and issue you a mileage stipend fee, i.e. under the guise of a global carbon tax, so you can help keep the IMF in business. Folks, I mean, you can't make this stuff up. This is the goofiest crap I've ever seen in my entire life. These idiots have lost their ever-loving minds, and it's time to play ball. We're going to go with love and harmony, and we're going to break the back of the ball. It's all good. Anyway, I love it. I love it.
And all we have to do is tell the truth. Like, John Howard is a murderer. He's a killer. He killed not only 35 people on Port Arthur that day because he allowed who knows what Freemasonic entities and what Jesuit entities to organize that killing. There were 2 gunmen, and all the people that worked at Port Arthur saw it. They did not see Martin Bryant. They saw somebody else, and they shot 35 people in about 3 minutes. And there were ex-military people there that witnessed the bloodletting, and they said that Martin Bryant, who doesn't even know how to pull a trigger, could not have done that kind of shooting. It was really, really marksman stuff. It was brilliant exercise. And please, people, spread those videos viral, because there are still traumatized people from that day. And not only that, there was the Queen Street Massacre here in the 80s. We had the Hoddle Street Massacre here. And now America is having a lot of massacres, all sponsored by the CIA. They are murderers, and they need to be stopped by exposure. And we can do it. We can do it, guys. And we are doing it, and we will do it. And here's another one. Ned Kelly. Yeah, Ned Kelly. Died at 25 in 1881 or something like that. Guess why he was killed? Well, because he saw the corporate nature of the Australian country in the Victorian countryside where I grew up. I grew up 20 minutes from where Ned Kelly did all his attempting to liberate the dumb, sleeping Australian buffoons. And he was targeted because he wanted to restore the Republic. He saw the corporate nature of Australia and the criminals, the police force, etc., that were selling Australia down the river and destroying it through its corporate means. He was a liberator, a hero, and a saviour to this country. And yet we still say that he was a criminal. He was trying to liberate the imprisoned minds of the Australian sleeping masses, the sheeple. And so expose these things, guys. Julia Gillard, our current Prime Minister, is a killer. She kills people in Libya. She supports the killing in Iraq. She's a killer. That's what she does. The bar are killers. They kill people by sending young boys into prison because they don't bring their bonds to court, but they steal their identity, steal money from their trusts, send them to court, charge them. I think when they send young kids to prison, I think they get about $700 or $800 a day from that job, because they are charging the estate of that young boy and leveraging and hypothecating that signature, because you see, the little boy didn't know that when he went into court and signed all those documents and signed himself into prison, etc., did not realise what they were doing. And yet they sit in their homes, these judges, magistrates, they call themselves that, but their judgment is coming.
Hey, Santo?
Yeah.
Just to clarify the word, this is why they call it someone gets charged with something. So what they're doing is they're charging your state account. So put the words together and you'll start to understand what this game's about. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, it's funny how these types, they can sit at home with their children while they are supporting the schemes of the New World Order to kill other people's children in other countries. And as for the people out there who work in the industrial military complex, I'd suggest get out of that job. Why would you be working in a factory where you make beautiful, polished bullets and armaments that are not actually going to be employed against your children when you go home from work and you sit with your children and you have a nice meal and you put now. then you go to work the next day making these beautiful bullets that will be pointed at the skulls of newborn babies and just to blow them to smithereens while you're feeding your little children and working in the industrial military complex. I suggest you reach out to all your friends that are working in such a place and get the hell out of there unless you want to share in the guilt of all the killing that is going on, and bring down that complex, because it should not even exist on any planet, anywhere in this loving universe. How about that?
Yep.
Yeah, go for it, Pete. Elaborate on that. Yeah, I mean, Kate, you were talking about hypothecates. You didn't actually say what they actually do with those signatures and how much leverage they've got. It's a bit like the banksters, you know. They have probably 1% of the 100% of the real money that they actually supposedly lend out. That's leveraging.
Well, no, Santos, look what's happening now over here on our side of the pond. You got the lovely whores that be called CCA, Corrections Corporation of America, a bunch of bottom-feeding slugs from hell who've gotten their busy little butts in all the 50 states, so we can invoke a guarantee of a 90% warehouse merchandise staying centers for the masses, and they're saying, hey, we'll guarantee you a 90% minimum retention rate into the jail system, so we can all make some more money, some more lucre. So we need some more victims. So, folks, I mean, the wheels of this bus have fallen off. And here, I mean, you know, I uncover this stuff at the speed of sound. I'm paying attention. But, I mean, it's all in your face, folks. I mean, now we got the schools to prison pipeline down in Mississippi just got uncovered. I just put that in your box, Santos, and as well as you, Kate. So, you know, folks, we're uncovering the scam, and the $43 trillion dealie. The CNBC guy who actually did the news story on the $43 trillion fraud. I posted that in your box as well, Santos. It's ironic that his children just got killed, and supposedly the nanny did it. Yeah. Can you say agent provocateur? This guy opened his mouth about the truth on one of the lamestream media channels, and his children are now dead. So, you know, they are predictable. At least, you know, you got to give them credit. No pun intended, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, you know, is it possible that the magistrates and the barristers and lawyers and solicitors that turn up day in, day out to those courts and see little children, young people, innocent people dragged through those courts, none of them are bringing their bonds to court, and they're stealing the identity of those people who are bonded, and they are stealing from their estates. If there are any Australians out there who are keen to support me, I would like to go down to Melbourne, to the city of Melbourne, one day in front of the Supreme Court and all of those courts on William Street with placards telling anybody that's turning up to court, first question, ask the judge, is anybody else bonded in this courtroom? Who else is the bonded party? And see how far the system goes. So if there's anyone that wants to support me, I'm happy to walk up and down William Street where all those people turn up to court, hundreds every day. I'm happy to do it for a month long with your support. I need the support. I'll have the placards ready, and we'll just see if we can't shut down the all of these phony courts there on William Street where they are
making... and right up on your placards, who here has the bond for the action being claimed? Believe me, the DAs will know what the hell you're saying.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I'm going to do it. I will eventually do it. Mark my words. I will be there where the fictions are happening, exposing them simply with placards or whatever needs to be done to expose these criminals, because we're doing them a favour. Because these judges are hurting themselves, because they are actually reaping bad karma on themselves for doing these crimes. And they think that the system is just going to kick along and run along smoothly like some well-oiled machine till the end of time, because that's the way the system has been geared up and they're just doing their jobs. Well, guess what? freedom lovers need to do their jobs, which is to expose the corruption and bring about freedom.
Yeah,
And,
hey, Santo, that's something too, and there's a number of faces that I'm going to be looking at when they kind of look at me puzzled, why are you doing this? And I'm just going to tell them, and I'm going to say the same thing to them that they said to me. Listen, bud, I'm just doing my job. For some reason you thought your family was far more important than other people's families, and somehow you need to pay for your roof more than somebody else, and that's how you justified your criminal activity. Well, given the fact that you've stolen so much and created so much harm and pain in others, at least this way now you'll get some time to think about it and possibly change your spirituality from the human beast to an actual human being. So again, it's wonderful when you get into this neutral zone of peace, and there is no vengeance here at all. It is just pure scientific logic. I am just following the natural laws, and the biggest one of all is the golden rule, and I will stand in that. I will not yield, and none shall pass. That's how it works. They better get used to it. Yep. I'm just doing my job.
Hey, Kate, my phone's fixing a dump, so if you see me go bye-bye, it's because the phone took a dump. Can I call in through my Skype mechanism to get back on?
Yeah, all you have to do is go to the page, refresh it, hit the Skype, and then we'll tag you into the room, okay?
All right, you got it. All right.
There we go. So, Santo, carry on.
Yeah, and so exposure, guys. That's the thing. And Kate did mention the film What the Fook, F-U-Q, Frequently Unanswered Questions. And Scott, an Australian living in Perth, has put together a beautiful 45-minute video teaching how Australia has two governments. One is registered in, well, they're both registered in guess where? New York. Now that's interesting, isn't it? The Commonwealth of Australia or the government of the Commonwealth of Australia, number one, or the government of Australia, which the criminal Bob Hawke, a Fabian from the Fabian Society, who are patiently helping the Jesuits to destroy this country and to steal wealth off every individual in this country. Bob Hawke was the one that instituted the new so-called Australian Constitution. It is a legal fiction. Bob Hawke was a lawyer, a killer, a murderer, a liar. He still is a thief. And he destroyed the fact that we did have some access to the original jurisdiction Commonwealth that was established here in this country, and we had common law in our courts, etc. But he took that away, along with all his lawyer friends, all of them. The day will come when there won't be such a thing as a lawyer or a liar in this world. So these guys need to change jobs now. Or if there are good-hearted magistrates, etc., and lawyers that are out there that see the corruption, and policemen, please do the right thing, embrace the light, and stop doing harm to other individuals, because harm is going to come to you very, very soon. Very, very soon. So for all those good judges, and I've seen good judges in Australian courts, guys. I've seen some very, very good judges. Good men. Very good men who know justice and do not go along with the system. They know that it's corrupt, and they do their best to stay in there and keep it as clean as possible, but they are under assault too, and they know that they have to do things very, very cautiously, and they do not proceed to throw young men into prison for little insignificant traffic fines and violations, etc. They are very, very good people, but they are few. It's probably only about 3 to 4% of them. The rest of them are creepy businessmen that enjoy what they're doing, and they need to be exposed. If anyone has better ideas than the placard idea or whatever they have, please bring them forward, and I will be happy to form a little group and we can do some proactive things. Now, my subject of syncretism, I was hoping to just speak a little bit about syncretism, because the other thing that the economic elite have done is they've hijacked the churches, like they've always done. Christianity was hijacked by the Julians and the Flavians in the 1st century. Now, how did they do this? Well, you see, once upon a time there were schools on this planet. And some people called them mystery schools because what was taught in there was not taught to the general masses, because they weren't ready for it. And so those schools, some of them were Hermetic, some of them were Christian, some of them were Jewish schools. There was so-called pagan schools. There were Orphic, Dionysian schools. There was all kinds of schools in the Mediterranean. Now, certain rich families like the Julians decided that they would take advantage of people's natural desire to worship and hijack that by giving them a fictional, idolatrous alternative to their true school teaching of science. And what they did was they were very smart, you see. They knew that the ones who came through these schools and were educated and enlightened in these schools, they knew the true story of Christianity and all of the religions. They knew that the stories in their Bibles were allegories and mythological treatises, and they knew that there was dimension to those writings, that what was written was referring to something else. Whereas the Goy or the Gentiles or the uneducated that were outside of the inner sanctums of these schools, they were taught a literal version of the scriptures. So everybody had the Gospels. Everybody had the Gospels of Jesus around the Mediterranean, hundreds of years before the supposed historical Saviour came along. And that's evidenced by the Nag Hammadi 1945 find of the Gospels, the 11 books that were found called the Nag Hammadi Gospels. They precede the 4 Gospels in the Bible. And the reason being is because the people in the inner sanctum, the initiated ones, they had the same Gospels that the outer literalist people had too. The only difference was that the uneducated, unenlightened ones treated these documents as literal. And of course, this was noticed. This was a known fact, that there was always Gnostic Christianity side by side with literalist Christianity. And all the philosophers and wise men knew that the literalists were wrong. They had to be wrong, because there's nothing literal in the scriptures at all, in any scriptures, anywhere in the universe. They are all metaphoric. They are all metaphysical. They are all allegory. In fact, Jesus said, or the Gospels say, that the Lord taught in parables, in secrets, in mysteries, so that only his inner sanctum disciples would understand. Those who have ears to hear, those who have eyes to see. And so what the Flavians did, and please look at the work of Joseph Atwill and the video and all of his interviews on YouTube. He has exposed this in his book, The Caesar's Messiah. Okay, so his book is called Caesar's Messiah, Joseph Atwill, and he has got many interviews on the internet you can listen to, and he's exposed that the Flavians chose to make the literalist version the official version, and then hence proceeded to persecute the Gnostic Christians. Now, what's a Gnostic Christian? Gnostic is spelt Gnostic, and that GN can sometimes be spelt KN. And we have the word to know, which is exactly the same as to be a Gnostic, is a knower. You see, the Gnostic Christians knew. They knew what? the truth. That Christianity is just a language dealing with science. And the Saviour is you, because the Christ dwelleth within. And the Christ is the chrism, and the chrism is the name of the oil that is in your body, which proceeds from the cerebrum. And this is what our theology is about. It's not about a literal man. It's about the true Christ, which is consciousness, that we possess, unlike the animals. And this true religion was stolen from us and replaced with a fictional, literal version that the buffoons and the outsiders and the goy and the Gentiles and the barbarians prescribed to, because they didn't know any better. And so what the Flavians did is they used that version of Christianity, and to this day, that is the official Christianity. And it's wrong. It's based on lies. Ask them to prove the historicity of Jesus. Ask them to prove these literalists. Ask them to prove all of the things that they are saying, because they declare that their God and Saviour is Jesus Christ, and they're happy to kill American Indians and put them in reservations for their Saviour and their Jesus. They're happy to colonize the ends of the earth for their Jesus. And then what they do is they put parishes everywhere. The whole planet is covered with a network of parishes, people.
Yeah, and look at the word parish. Okay, pay attention to it. You know, when you're doomed, you're perished. And that's why they tell people right out of the gate, Santo, this is what really, really, I try so hard every day to drive this point home. Listen and see, show and tell, same time. And I do want to make a note to anyone of the alphabet gangs that like to, frequent this show because they love me so much. We are completely against any form of violence whatsoever, any form of reprisal in that regard. The one thing that we can say that we have been standing, and this has been, I hate using the word revolution because it invokes certain things, but I will nullify it because I know what the word actually means. We are turning back all of the hate and the anger and the harm and everything else, and mankind is standing. The human beings are standing in absolute peace. And the only violence that gets subjugated against anyone is that which you are putting against us. And that is your mirror. That is the harm that you are going to bring to yourself. Not because of something we will do, because, quite frankly, we understand universal law, and it will come back. The pendulum, the ebb and flow, the law of correspondence will come back and smite your sorry ass. We don't have to do a thing. Pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah. And that's how it's supposed to be. Love is supposed to win the day. It's a loving universe. Where does the hate come from? Well, that's because we have defaulted on keeping the balance. We were sent here with a mission to keep the balance. Nature's keeping the balance. Everything in the universe is about balance, not extremes. The variety that's offered in the dualistic universe is there for our enjoyment. It's not there for our division. Duality is not for division, it's there for doubling. It's there for its positive aspects, so that we can see what evil looks like and we can see what good looks like, and then we can choose the middle path and attain unity. Because from the one proceeds the two. Two does not come of its own origin. Two-ness does not exist without one. Everything comes from one. One is Atom, who is Adam. And in the Bible there is always a dude called Adam, because Adam is the atom. And he's always got a wife called Eve, because Eve is even. It's the number one and the number two. And it's the secret of how the universe has been created, with ones and twos, odd numbers and even numbers. Odd is Odom, or Adam, and Eve is even. And there it is in our beautiful English language, ready to go, ready for us to have eyes to see and ears to listen. But the literalists in their churches that have been hijacked by the brainwashing, mind-controlling Rothschild family together with Rockefellers. They've put a lot of money. The Jehovah's Witnesses are funded by the Rockefellers. When I interviewed Jordan Maxwell on American Freedom Radio, you can see that, you can listen to that interview. Please source it out. You go to the archives of American Freedom Radio, and there was a 1-hour interview I had with Jordan Maxwell, who was also involved with the Jehovah's Witnesses like myself. He was privy to some very interesting information, and he came to learn because he spoke to someone in the accounts department in the headquarters of the Jehovah's Witnesses, and he told Jordan that they have an open checkbook to Chase Manhattan and Morgan, J.P. Morgan. And whenever they need money, they can just draw on that money to keep their fiction going. And their fiction is this. I was a Jehovah's Witness for 20 years, active. I was a regular pioneer, a ministerial servant. I served in Italian-speaking, Portuguese, Spanish-speaking congregations. I used to go on all over Melbourne on the lecture circuit, giving public talks in those languages, teaching people the fiction. So I would know the fiction of Jehovah's Witnesses, which is the same as the fiction of the Mormons and the Baptists and the Pentecostals and all these blasphemous churches, is this. They teach the buffoons that go there to sit on your hand because God has a controversy with Satan. And until such time as he sorts that out, we just sit here, come to church, put money in the contribution boxes and wait for God to sort it out. You don't get involved in politics. Yes, we know the governments are criminals and sin. But we are supposed to wait for God to save us. Now, people, please understand that the Jehovah's Witnesses are telling their people that everybody else that does not belong to their mind-controlled organization by the Rockefellers will not when Armageddon comes to this earth. Only the Jehovah's Witnesses. Can you imagine how horrendous this devastating false fictional teaching is destroying the spirituality of these potential good, loving truth seekers called the Jehovah's Witnesses? There's probably 100,000 that are truly sincere about their search for God and for truth, and yet they are told that they only will be saved. And then you go to the Mormons, they do the same. You go to the Pentecostals, they do the same. This is out and out ridiculous blasphemy, and they are all pedophiles. How do I know? Because I know. All of these churches have a rule. When a pedophile is found in their midst, it is to be dealt with in-house. No need to call the police. No need to prosecute them and send them to the court system. No need to do any of that. They've sinned against God. We'll look after it. I've seen hundreds of these cases in the Jehovah's Witness organization. I have seen many beady-eyed, sick-looking individuals in the churches of Jehovah's Witnesses that I know for sure are pedophiles, and they're protected. And they can lick their lips and walk around the congregation and have a good look at everybody's beautiful little fresh children because they're going to have their way because they're allowed to. They can. These organizations must be shut down yesterday. Jehovah's Witnesses need to be shut down yesterday. It's already too late. The fact that they exist is an indictment on us. And why? Because we haven't really done anything proactive, possibly, or possibly not. I've done a lot of proactive to shut them down. But nonetheless, most of us have, a sort of, probably because we see this big machinery of Babylon the Great, government, etc., that we think that we are too small to make any change, but we are not. And the thing is, if we stay silent, and if we go about our way, not doing anything, and keeping out of harm's way, just we might lose some skin if we if we say the wrong thing and we tell the truth. We know it's the truth, but I'm scared. Yeah, I'm scared for my life. People, don't fear your life. You are immortal. There is no such thing as death. Please, don't be so stupid as to think that your body, when it ends up in the tomb, means the end of you. For goodness sakes, please. We are eternal. We are God. That's what we are. We are part of. We're all part of the same unconditioned consciousness. Down below, in this thick, dense planet where we live, which is called Earth, the thick, dense place in the universe where spiritual vibration is hard permitted to exist. And then on top of that, we've got the elites that have flipped the positive polarity into negative by means of all their devices. You know, they're spelling in their legalese, their churches which are built and designed to destroy nature's vibrations, and all of their spells that they cast, all of their obelisks, and all of their, buildings that they've put to destroy Gaia's dodeca icosahedron network of vibrating energy. They have suffocated her. They've done it deliberately, people, because if the Earth could have true temples like the pyramids of Giza and all of those commissioned once more, because they were deep. You see, all those beautiful temples of and those schools of learning and healing that, for instance, she was in Alexandria in the 4th century when Theodosius sent the decree to all these Christian killers to go down to the library and pull Hypatia off her chariot and to kill her. Hypatia was operating in a school that was healing and teaching wisdom. They decommissioned and destroyed all of those temples and established the fictional Christianity on this planet, people. And I'm not against Christianity at all. In fact, I'm against Christianity. That's what I do. I teach true Judaism and true Islam and true Hinduism because it's all syncretic. And so I'm not against that. But as you can see clearly, I don't need to put forward much evidence at all that Christianity is just a bunch of killers and pedophiles, and they need to go so that we can all return to these beautiful, exquisite languages. And if you choose that you want to stay with Christian because you understand that language, go ahead. You know, if you don't want to learn the language of Islam, which is equally as beautiful, well, don't, because everything that Islam says is said in Christianity. Everything that Christianity says is said in Buddhism.
Hey, guys. Hello.
Hey, Kate.
Yeah, just went quiet there. I was just screening call. We got someone just wants to say hi here to Peter and say thanks and whatnot. So go ahead, caller.
Hi there, guys. Hey, Santos, Peter. This is Aaron down in Puerto Vallarta. How you guys doing?
Not bad.
Can you hear me?
Sure where Santos got to. I think they might have shoved him sideways off the air a little bit.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
I've still got him on the board here, so, well, you know what it's like when we speak too much truth. They like to hack at us, so it's all good. It's all good. But, yeah, and I do believe Peter is on area code 240. I've made his mic hot if he did get back in. Is that you there, Peter?
Cynthia here.
Oh, hey, how you doing? So, I guess we're waiting for Santo to get back on here. So, any questions or comments? I'm going to actually mute you, area code 661, because you got a lot of noise in the background. But thanks for dropping by. I'll leave you on hold. You can keep listening.
All right, thanks.
There we go.
Okay, area code 240-782. Who we got?
Cynthia in Maryland.
Hey, how are you doing? I thought I recognized the number. I wasn't quite sure. So, you got any questions or comments you want to jump in?
I'm just listening.
Okay, well, nice to hear you. It's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still waiting for Santo to get back. So, Cynthia, I'll put you back on hold then, and I guess we'll see what's going on with Santo here.
All I hope it's...
Can you hear me?
You there, Santo?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you now. Okay, carry on. We got 14 minutes left here, so we got lots of time. You're doing awesome. Just had someone pop in, wanted to say hi and thanks, and yeah. Oh, it's so good to have you on Freedom Reigns, my friend. Oh my God, you have no idea.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I've pretty much said the bit that I wanted to say. I did want to spend a bit more time on syncretism, but I'll do that next week. There's plenty of time because I really want Peter to say a little bit more about the liberating process, and I think we need to spend some more time on the bonds now, and the signatures, and our standing, and learn how to deal and enlighten the police when they pull us over and things like. I think we should spend some time on that, guys. Please, anyone want to contribute?
Yeah, I'll jump in there. I guess Peter's not on the call at this point. His phone was obviously dying off, and he hasn't got back in via Skype yet. But just to let people know, yeah, the critical thing is we have a rearguard action with regards to the bonds. Some of us are going to be demolition crew, like people like myself and a few others, Dean Clifford, Mark Hollywood, and a bunch of others that are taking. And there's when I say those names, there are hundreds of people around us that are all doing the same. I get the emails in every single day of people, doing actions. I heard from Curtis. It sent me an audio and transcript, and I haven't had a chance to hook up with Curtis, and I do want to have a chat with him. Some beautiful stuff, beautiful information. I just got some photographs from a gentleman down in the States regarding a deed poll with what the document looks like, with the footnotes on it and everything else, and the actual application for Missouri. For the hospital, how the mothers, and it's very telling. Once you can actually read the words and know exactly what the spells are within those words, they are very sinister. And I'm going to put a plea out to all those in the hospitals that are subjugating their fellow mankind into slavery by forcing, grabbing the baby after it's born to quickly get its footprints onto a document, and just to make sure that it's in bondage. I will reach out to the doctors and nurses that may not be aware of the full crime that they are committing, but they are committing an act of slavery by ignorance or willful act. It's either way guilty by omission or commission of a crime, and I've just made you aware of it. So we got to stop things at source, right at the stem. Lucas, and I got to say thank you, Lucas. I'm working on some stuff that Lucas and I have been going back and forth on regarding stem cells, the original bonds, where you've got the bid, performance, and payment bonds, which translates to the contract, ions, contractions, the labor, and the delivery of the baby. And that's why they're construction bonds, the mother and father getting together to build that body genetically. And it starts at the stem, and it goes to the umbilical. I'm looking at the kingdom of and the biblical. So there's a lot of sinister magic involved here. And don't kid yourself, people. We're dealing with the blackest of magic. If you think that it doesn't exist, you better think again and wake up, because that's exactly what we're dealing with here. This is a magical universe. The bonds are critical. The bonds are key. And we're starting to call them out on it now, and it is creating major waves. Also, the signature boxing is critical. This is something that anyone can do at a grassroots level. This is Kate of Gaia pleading with you to get your crayons out and start practicing making little boxes around your name, and little boxes around every name you see, and watch the difference you will make, because this is the butterfly flap of your wings that's creating the tsunami worldwide. The only way we end this game is to take the banks down, which are the church, which is the Vatican. I've seen this world change. Santa, you've seen it. We've walked step by step all the way along here, and you've seen the worldwide ramifications of the simple emails and the acts that we have done, and we've watched the paradigm shift where you think, oh my God, I just did that. And, don't for 1 second, people out there, do not believe for 1 second that you are one, you are God, you are me, we are all one creation. You have this power that you can change the world with a simple thought, with a simple act. That is your intention put into the physical universe. Are you going to stand by and watch people fall? Are you going to watch this world get destroyed, or are you going to do your part? Are you going to stand and do something, anything, just box a signature? And if you can't even do that, well, then flow a little energy towards us that are doing it to keep us in the fight. If you don't want to fight, that's fine. I'm totally okay with that. But chip in. You know, if you can't grab an oar, throw something to feed the oarsman. I think that's fair. You know, we got the front, we got point here, and we got the rear guard action going on. We're taking it down. We have a means to get off of Babylon, to get off the plantation, and get in to the Divine Province. And we're creating that bridge. You know, Deatra, that song was so perfect at the outset, hon. You know, we can build a bridge, and we have that bridge now. We've got the bridge from the mundane into the Divine Province, and people are going there in droves. This is why, and I'm going to put the appeal out one more time, stop sending me and Peter and the rest of us emails asking questions of why is it taking so long. People, there are literally hundreds and thousands heading out of Babylon into a brand new thing that got overwhelmed with the sheer numbers, and I know that. This morning I got an email. I forwarded it to my group, and then I started posting it. Within 15 minutes, the download that was available that shouldn't have been put out there, but the one that was available, the site seized up within less than 15 minutes. That's the kind of power that I'm dealing at my desk. Just me, little old Kate, the little tranny, just doing her thing at the desk.
It was beautiful.
You know, so this is the difference you can make. You know, we're not standing here at a pulpit going, give us $100 and we'll save your soul. Screw that bullshit. You've heard Santo. You know they're pedophiles. You know what this church is about. I mean, if I hear one more priest raping a child story, and I'll tell you, everyone already knows this, but I was raped as a kid. Not by anyone in the church, but it was someone in the Admiralty. It was a chief petty officer retired in the Sea Cadets. So it started early with me in Admiralty. My fight began, and these people knew I was coming here, and they put every obstacle in their way, in my way, to make sure they could slow me down. But gosh darn it, I think they screwed up. All they did was built me stronger and stronger and stronger. Santo, my rant's over.
Guys, I've got a little experience that I want to share with you about the bonds and how powerful this is. And it's my experience. Probably about 2 to 3 years ago, I forget now, I was in my little cul-de-sac over the road. I now live with my brother. I moved into the back of my brother's house, who has a separate unit, and that's in the same cul-de-sac. But my little nephew, a 7-year-old, used to come down and ride my motor. I had a little two-stroke 50cc motorbike that he'd come up and I'd teach him how to ride it, and he used to love it, you see. Anyway, one of the neighbours must have called the police because he was up and down the cul-de-sac, up and down my drive, and, you know, it's a loud motorbike, so I usually only do about 5 or 10 minutes and then I put it away. But on this particular occasion, little Lorenzo hops on the motorbike. I'm there at the top of my driveway. He goes down the driveway, to the left, up the cul-de-sac, and instead of turning around, he falls over. And as he fell over, the police turn up with their lights and everything, and they pull up right behind the fallen motorbike. And there's my little nephew looking at the police, shivering in his pants, wondering what the hell is going on here. I've fallen off a motorbike, and here's a policewoman and a policeman with their notebook, guns and tasers, and they're coming to talk to me. So I run down to my little nephew, I grabbed the motorbike and rolled it down the hill, and the policeman go, hey, come back here. I knew that I had to get back onto my property, to get onto the land, to get out of their waters. I got onto my deck, and back those days I was very aggressive. I was hurling abuses at them. All the neighbours thought I was, you know, going crazy. But the cops were approaching my driveway, and they were walking up my driveway. By this time, all the neighbours had gathered, and everybody's outside the front doors watching because I'm screaming like an idiot. And I said to the policeman, I just said one thing, and within 30 seconds they were out of there. And they were threatening with lots of things, man. They threatened me with a lot of things. And all I said was one thing that I learned from Winston Trout, because I was watching his video presentations on the bonds. And Winston Crouch said, just ask the policeman who's the bonded party next time you have dealings with the policeman. And so I did. And my brother, by this time, he had his camera rolling, and it's on footage. I can show you the footage of me yelling from my veranda, and I yelled out, "Who's the bonded party?" And the policeman, who had his hand on his gun at this stage, he was ready to, he's going to show all the neighbours what the police can do. And the policeman looked at me and says, "Huh? What are you talking about, Santo? What are you talking about?" And I said, "You know what I mean." And I don't know how many swear words, and I shouldn't have done that because there were children around, but, they weren't bad swear words, but I showed the neighbours what to say and what to do, and the policemen were out of there in 30 seconds. Please, people, who's the bonded party? That's all you have to ask the policeman. When they pull you up, "Oh, hello, sir. What's your name?" First thing you ask. You establish that you're not going to be talked down to because you are a superior officer to them. Do not show them your license. Your license indicates that you are an inferior officer to them, and they will kick your butt. So first thing you do is you ask, "How's your bond going today, sir?" "I've got mine." "Here it is." "Show them your birth certificate." Carry it with you everywhere you go. Go, Kate. You there, Kate?
Yeah, I'm here.
Please.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm here. We're winding down the clock. We got a couple of minutes, 2.5 minutes left here. So I'm just going to do a quick wrap-up. If we do go past the hour, it will be on the recording if we need to finish some ideas. But I just want to thank Deatra and Tony and Peter and Santo and Cynthia and Vince and Victoria and, oh, my God, Jim, everybody. You are all making a difference. Every bit of help you flow towards us, you are helping. We're just the spokespeople. We're just the spokes in that wheel that you're pushing forward, and you're helping us to help you. And it's going both ways here. That's how the mirror works. So, and I know that you know that. So, but I do want to thank Freedom Reigns, Blog Talk Radio, and all you guys that are kicking in to make a difference in this game. We've won the game. There is no question. Where there was doubt maybe 2 years ago, there was no doubt now, and I will finish off my comments on that. Tomorrow night we got Regal Exchange show with Deatra and Lawrence, 7 to 9, and on Tuesday night I've got Scott from the What the Fuck FUQ, frequently unanswered questions. I'll say it the way it's meant to be said. Santo, I have no fear of the word. It's a beautiful Tibetan word, by the way. That's on Tuesday night from 7 to 9, and again back with yours truly on Outside the Box, 7 to 9 on Wednesday nights, and of course 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard on awakeradio.co.uk. We're getting the word out, guys. Santo, we got a minute left here, so wrap her up, buddy.
Okay, guys, all you motivated listeners, join in, and now's the time. Carpe diem. Seize the day. Don't let this day slip through your fingers. You can tell your children what you did when they enjoy the freedom in the future, anywhere where they live on this in this universe, because there will be love. The universe is love, and she's bringing it back home, and we're going home. We're going back to our unified, unconditioned consciousness state. And so, lift your chins up. Hope and love is here. Be a part of it. Tony, please, just a quick one. Or anybody else.
We have built the bridge, so all we got to do now is cross it, and we're off the air. Just so you guys know. Wow. Just wow. Actually, it's saying 10 seconds. The clock ran out before that. It looks like we were off the air, but we're not. Anyway, thanks again for tuning in to Syncretism with Santo Bonacci. Amazing show, Santo. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right, we're on the recording aspect now. We're off the air. It was out of sync with the recording and the timer, so on the air. So, but I did want to say thank you guys so much. What a great first show, Santo. Just knocking it out of the park.
Thanks.
It'll be ready for...
Santos, I'm honored and very proud to have you a part of our team.
Yeah, me too. Look, this is just absolutely beautiful what you guys are doing, and I'm here wholeheartedly. And let's rock it. Let's rock the boat.
Yep,
Absolutely.
you got it.
You know, it's funny, Santo. We met on air a little over a year ago, and I got to tell you, it's been quite a year, huh?
Hey,
Oh, yeah.
it has been. It's been a great year. Hey, Kate, Lawrence is online, and I've just opened his mic so he can kind of say hello, and just give us maybe a 1 or 2 minute snippet of what he'll be bringing forth tomorrow.
Excellent, and that way it'll be on the archive for people to download. Okay, go ahead, Lawrence.
Why am I not hearing?
I don't know. Let me just check the board. Make sure he's hot there. Yeah, Lawrence
I've
is
got
hot.
him open. All right, hang on.
That's bizarre.
Hey, Santo, Tony. All right, mate. Brilliant job. Absolutely awesome, my friend.
I really.
Hey, can y'all hear me now? Hey, guys.
Okay, carry on.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay. Deatra had muted my phone. She caught me off guard here. So, anyway, I'll tell you what, you guys, this was an incredible show tonight. I'm so glad I got to finally listen to all of this, and it's just incredible. So much of everything you talked about, Santos, and Kate, and Tony, and you too, Pete. I've been down this and experienced it heavy duty the past 5 years of my life in my own spiritual growth. And here, of course, before that, I thought I knew it all. But as far as the show tomorrow night, I just want to, what we're going to talk about a little bit, and Kate, I'll just follow your lead on everything. But the reality of the money, it's just like all money is split barter. It's just trade. And it allows a split barter process to take place so that one individual can receive, the value now, and the seller receives his or hers at a later point for what they want. It takes the difficulty out of trying to match an apple with a horse or pig. And so the thing that people need to realize is that just like so much of what you all talk tonight, we have let ourselves be led down a garden path that's nothing but a lie. And trade and contract is critical to human interaction, and it goes all the way back to the very source of common law and all liberty and freedom. And that is what I call the money power. That's the ability to issue and create money beyond simple barter. And we've turned that over to a third-party interloper here that has set up and combined that with usury or interest that has literally robbed the whole world. This is their tool of power against us, and we've handed that over. And we don't realize that every single one of us has this capacity inherent within our very being. It's a matter of our free choice as to whether we use it or not. It's a beautiful thing when you can see it in the light that it really should be instead of what it is. It's also very simple to implement. It's very common, very similar to what we use today. So we're going to be discussing, I hope to get to bring all this and a whole lot more out. We have everything we need today to, very familiar to us, in fact. The difference is in who yields the money power We have to take this money power to ourselves and take it out of the hands of government and bankers. And we can do it. It's really very simple. So that's what I'll be talking about a lot.
Excellent. Brilliant comments there. One thing I would like to point out is the seminar that was done yesterday explains a little bit about what's going on with the Crown and the banking system. So that'll be extremely articulate to what you just described, because the Crown are going to give it back. It's awesome.
Well,
excellent
can't
news.
wait.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to wrap this up because I know there's people chomping at the bit to get this recording. So much love to all of you, and thanks for giving a bit of a heads up there on tomorrow night, Lawrence. It's going to be a great evening. They always are, so I'm looking forward to it. Santo, a real treat. Tony and Peter, I know he's not on the call right now. I've already been tagged by Scott. Scott's all pumped for the show on Tuesday night, their Wednesday morning, so we'll have the whole crew there as well. So it's going to be one hell of a week of truth. So much love to you guys, and thanks everybody for tuning in and downloading this episode and being the change you want to see. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.